Well, good morning, everyone, from Oregon Inlet and Bonner Bridge Pier. And there's Superintendent of National Parks of Eastern North Carolina, Dave Halleck, escorting out the very first folks coming out to fish on the Bonner Bridge Pier here on this October 1st. Good morning and welcome to OBX Today Live. Special edition from here on the northern end of Pea Island. An absolutely perfect morning to be out here. And we're going to give you a first look as the public can now make their way out. Almost 3 years in the making. And there's a big crowd out here. Try it out. Of course, while the pier is now open, we've still got the final little bit of demolition cleanup going on. And really all that's left, the demolition is all but complete. And we're going to get a chance to talk to Tim Haas from NCDOT. There he goes, walking by right now, to tell us more about what's going on with the final little pieces of demolition of the Bonner Bridge. As you can see, it looks much different, as we've shown in all the photos we've been getting during the demolition process. Than what the bridge originally looked like. They did maintain the bridge deck, but all the railings, the concrete railings, have been removed. And we'll get out here, we'll show you some of the other changes that have been made to convert it into a pier. Just over 1,000 feet long is what was left. And as you can see, of course, it goes over here at the basin, the old Coast Guard station. And the groin on the north tip of Pea Island, still protecting the landing of both bridges. We'll get out. The way it's designed, or what they left, is it gets out to the curve. So essentially it's about the same distance as the catwalks, but a little bit longer. It does go almost the length of the old catwalks. And like I said, when we get out, we'll be able to show you the changes that got made along the sides. So it's easier. So one, that we could do the fishing from here on the deck rather than with the catwalks, because you had the catwalks, you had the fences that lined the rails of the bridge. And the other thing he had was the extra support structures that were put in over the last 20 or 30 years on each set of the vents. Vents are the combination of pilings and caps which support the bridge. Some of that was left in place, some of it was removed. To make it easier to fish from up here on the deck rather than how the catwalks hung over. They're about, what, 6 feet below the bridge, the deck. Well, maybe not that low. 3 feet below the bridge deck, the road deck. And one thing that, and notice one of the first things you see with the signs out here is climbing on the pilings prohibited. That back when we had the catwalks. You climb down to fish from those extra supports, as you can see right there. Not going to do that. That was one thing about the catwalks. Did almost encourage that. Much farther drop. The sun's at the perfect angle to not look south. Try to see if we can tell the view here. Pretty much not where we're at. See the dredge. Dredge? No. It is a dredge. Can't tell if it's the Merit working out there today in the crack. Still some of the pilings. There's a few pilings left of the old bridge. Tim, I'm going to get you on my Facebook Live here in a second when you're ready.
Well, you may want to talk to Pablo technical stuff.
Okay. All right, I'll find him.
Yeah. He knows all the ins and outs. In fact, I'm going to talk to him myself.
Okay. Talking about, of course, Pablo Hernandez is the bridge guru for NCDOT. Him, here's Superintendent Halleck. Dave, good morning.
Hey, Sam. How are you?
Very good, very good. Here on Facebook Live this morning. I know it's been a long anticipated day since the catwalks closed it seems like almost 5 years ago since the catwalks closed, and Pier's open, and I was surprised to see how many people were lined up out here this morning. I think you were too.
I was. Actually, I got a text from Mike Barber of our staff just after 7 that there were already 10 people waiting, and they were here before 7. So people love to pier fish, and as you can see from this location, you get to see the entire Oregon Inlet. You're basically in the middle of it. You can see the bar on the outside of the inlet. You can see the Body Island Lighthouse. You can see the beautiful Basnight Bridge, and then you have this endless view of Pamlico Sound, and it's breathtaking.
It is. Some of the things that we've already seen out here, we know there's bears around, and you got bear-proof trash cans up and down. That was one of the biggest things when I saw the pictures yesterday and seeing those out here, to be able to have the facilities you're going to be able to have out here to really kind of be, as the Park Service, the Fish and Wildlife Service, and anglers in general are good stewards of the environment, and that's one of many things that you guys have added out here.
Yeah, absolutely. We have multiple trash cans, and yeah, they are animal-proof trash cans, not just for bears. So I have to say we haven't seen a bear around here lately, but even for things like raccoons that are able to pry open trash containers. So, and actually it helps them from blowing them in the wind as well. So yeah, we're really happy to be able to provide that. We've got fishing line, recycling containers as well. And as you said, most of our visitors are very environmentally conscious, and they usually leave their beaches and facilities in better shape than when they came in. So we appreciate that.
Being open 24 hours, I know it offers it's great because everybody loves to come out here and night fish, but at the same time it offers a little bit of a challenge for you guys on the rangers enforcement side. But I know that's one thing that you guys wanted to make sure was that the public had access to it, because we like to fish at night.
Yeah, absolutely. We're keeping it open 24 hours a day for now. Our rangers will be out here sometimes in the middle of the night. But we know this is not our first pier management scenario. As you know, we also own the Avon Pier, and Joe Thompson at Cobra Village does a wonderful job of taking care of that for us. So we'll take it day by day, but we feel pretty confident that it won't be a problem to keep it open 24 hours a day. And interestingly, for the public's enjoyment, we will be mounting a webcam, actually probably two, that will shine in both directions on the pier and allow folks to see the view and see what's happening on the pier 24 hours a day.
That's a partnership with Outer Banks Forever, which is a nonprofit.
Yes, we are looking to partner with them on that, and our chief of interpretation is working on all the details because there's no power actually out here. So it'll be a solar system that will charge a battery to keep the cameras going.
What else can folks expect when they come out here? And we talked about one thing we try to emphasize: you have to have a fishing license to fish on this pier, unlike our other privately managed piers.
Exactly. So those privately managed piers can purchase a special recreational fishing license that covers everybody on the pier. This is a little different. This is not necessarily a fishing pier. This is the Bonner Bridge Pier. It's open for all sorts of recreational activities. I have no doubt that there will be people that will come here every morning. They'll walk up and down. That loop is just over a third of a mile. So you do that 3 times and you've just walked a mile. And I can't think of a more beautiful place to exercise. So we anticipate a lot of folks will come here to walk and exercise. Folks will come here for photography, to watch the sunset. We think there's going to be a lot of different users at this site.
Some of the other things that you're going to benefit from having this, I mean, not just because of the recreational side, and we're going to get a chance to talk to NCDOT about that, what they're going to be able to do with research out here, but I know this is going to be an opportunity for you guys to do some things like that as well.
Yeah, it very well may be. Right now we're just focused on getting this open for recreational activities. But having a fixed structure like this that you can place instruments on to look at things like water level monitoring, temperature, salinity, it's always a nice platform to have that.
This is another piece of the puzzle here for Cape Hatteras National Seashore itself. Obviously the lighthouse, so many other things. The Frisco project is underway now, getting the bath access, the parking lot expanded and making some changes out there. A lot of exciting projects for you guys over the next several months.
Yeah, we have a lot going on. You're exactly right. And the lighthouse is one of the biggest projects there. We were so pleased to have a public meeting in Buxton, a safe public meeting inside the secondary school or the high school down there, and had incredible input and commentary. We had a virtual public meeting just a couple nights ago, and we're getting ready to really finish up the planning and design for that and get going on the restoration. And then yes, down in Frisco, we're adding 36 parking spaces to the existing beach access, and that is basically a substitute project where Frisco Pier parking that was demolished during Hurricane Florence will now be in a safer location further from the ocean and will most likely fare better during storms. We're also completely renovating the bathrooms and the shower facility, so when we reopen this spring, I think the public will really enjoy it.
David Halleck, he is the Superintendent of National Parks for Eastern North Carolina, here with us on OBX Today Live. Thanks a lot. Enjoy wandering and out here at the inlet today.
Thank you, Sam. Thanks for joining us.
Of course. All right, let's see if we can track down Pablo Hernandez from NCDOT. Wanted to get him to give us a better idea what this is going to do for them in terms of research. And that's something that I mentioned that with Dave Halleck about what the Pier is going to offer in terms of being a research platform, as trying to study what bridges like this built 6 decades ago, 62 years, it's almost 62 years now, and has sat out here in the inlet. And like it's talked about earlier, and we've got video if you search on obxtoday.com, the NCDOT provided, that shows some testing that they did with some of the support beams that run underneath the bridge deck and support it, and they were able to take some of those and do pressure testing to show how strong they were, but learn from that and how to build bridges better. NC State University and its civil engineering program, of course, involved with that directly. So I don't see Pablo out here at the moment. Trying to see if I can track him down. I don't see him out here yet. But we'll get a chance to talk to Pablo about this, because I know they're very excited about being able to do that, but also talk about some of the technical stuff. Some of the changes had to be made structurally to this section of the bridge to make it turn into what it is now with this pier access. I see one of the representatives from the Fish and Wildlife Service too, because we can talk about that. That's one thing. This is a joint situation. We are actually on Pea Island National Wildlife Refuge when you come in. Once you get off of the Basnight Bridge, and this is attached to that part. That's a snag. That's a snag. I haven't seen anybody bring anything up over the rail yet. Oh, well, maybe a little pin. Nope, nothing yet. I haven't seen anybody bring anything up over the rail yet this morning out here. Bring your hat. There's one thing about this time of year, lower sun angle. Oh, there's a little sea robin. I just got a text from our good friend Tony Lombardi, walkingangler.com, about how high is the bridge off the water surface. Tony, I will have to get back to you on that. I'm going to see if I can get that answer for you here in just a second. That is a good question. It's about the same height as most of our fishing piers here. So, like we said with the catwalks, you were only about maybe 15 feet to maybe 20 feet off the water surface at times. So, I'm going to check that out. See if we can check any of our comments. Yeah, Merman Dan with a good point about the webcams. I love those, as y'all know, that are regular viewers here on OBX Today Live, of being able to give you the live shots that we get from all the different webcams up and down the beach, and this will be another addition to that. So we'll see how long that takes to get in place. Let's see here. Let me walk back down, see if we... There's Tim. I'm trying to see if we can find Pablo. Might have to call him. He may not be making his way out today. But I'm going to probably say it's 15, maybe 20 feet at the most above the water surface. And if you see, pretty much it follows the same path that the catwalks did. In fact, there you see a mounting plate right here on top of this bent. That would have been where the beams that supported the catwalks were located. So it's roughly the same length as what we have with the catwalks. That was something I wanted to show you too. You see how those jacks, those steel jacks, are located the way they're built, and that was some of the additions that were made over the last 30 years or so to the pier itself, or to the bridge, to support the pilings. And then they built these protective concrete structures around that. Of course, this part of the bridge itself, because of the nature of the inlet, this was some of that area where some of the scour happened back in the early to mid 80s. And we talk about the scour, the sand being washed out from around the pilings, and brought into question the structural integrity of the bridge itself as you got farther out in the inlet, because you're talking about the water in this part of the inlet and you get out in the channel. And that's one thing about They did cut this pretty close to where the navigation spans. In fact, it pretty much is parallel to the navigation spans of the Basnight Bridge, where they start, and that, of course, with the multiple navigation spans, allows the movement of the inlet channel itself, which we know moves, basically is trying to move south all the time. But you're talking about 30-foot water, and sometimes, you know, you get a couple of good storms through. I mean, you can get as much as 60 or 70 feet deep in the main channel here in the inlet. And that, of course, would wash out around those pilings that were driven back in the early 60s with the amount of movement of water through here. So that was why you see those jacks that were built, especially on this end. Then, of course, the groin that was built in the 80s to protect the South Landing and the Coast Guard Basin. That was built so that you could cut that. There's a little pinfish. Yeah, let's see. We've seen some sea robins and pinfish so far this morning. No, great breeze. Not sure how the audio is. Haven't seen anybody say we're having audios. Dennis, good question. You know what? Have not. I wasn't really paying attention coming out here because we saw this big crowd. That's a good question about fish cleaning station. Let's see. Mike's over here. I'll give him a quick ask a question. Mike Barber, who is the public information officer for the 3 national parks here on the Outer Banks. We can drop that question into him. Okay. Tony, thanks. Good to know. Hey, Mike, fish cleaning station. Is that something? Somebody just asked about that on our Facebook Live about a possible fish cleaning station. Is that something being considered?
It may be considered. I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay. All right. Was wondering about one of the questions we had. So I know we've got a couple of them, you know, down at 40. Right. At 44 and also okay, all right, something for the future.
Something for the future, yeah.
Something for
opening it now.
Yeah,
we're excited to have everyone come out.
Of course, of course.
It.
All right, have you seen Pablo Hernandez? Tim said he was maybe coming out.
He was here earlier.
Oh, okay, all right.
He's been down at the Jug Handle
Bridge right
recently.
Okay.
So he may be down there.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Oh, okay. There's Boone and Drizza, who's the Chief Ranger for the parks here. That might be something we're going to probably hit Pablo up with. He's not out here. He's got more. I mean, this is one completion, and now they got another project they're trying to get done. So, the one thing is about coming out here is you really get a great view of the Basnight Bridge itself and how it's built. If you haven't been out here yet to see it, you know, had a chance a couple of times during construction to come out in boats and take a look. I'll go back out here to the end. I hadn't seen he go head down to Red Anthony, you think, or?
I'm gonna go try and find him myself because I was gonna.
Okay, all right. We'll walk back down here to the end. We're mostly fishing on the ocean side right now. Oh, that's a great idea. About an underwater camera, that would be awesome. And that's another one of those things that having this platform to be able to do. The only question I've got about an underwater camera is going to be, we know how fast that current rolls through here, Dan. How stable will it be? Or, you know, having to take a, and I'm going to be using a couple of tie straps of that. That's going to be that'd be a pretty beefy camera mount. So. Yes, Gail, good question. They are going to have portable toilets here. They do have a couple in place now. Right now it's just going to be portable toilets for multiple reasons. One of those being that it's not something that they've, there's not really space for a septic tank out here. So you'll have the portable toilets, just like, think about it like the lighthouse site. At the old Lighthouse Beach, they've got the portable toilets there, so we're gonna have those. Fish cleaning station looks like that'll be down the road. So yeah, it's probably. Tony, you were asking about that height. It's got to be no more than 20 feet. So that was one thing, with the catwalks, we were closer to the water. So, but it almost feels like we're on Jeanette's. With the height that's at Jeanette's Pier. It's about that same height. So yeah, the dredge out there working in the crack today. A channel that runs parallel. We're working out the channel. And of course, the crack being the channel runs along parallel to the bridge back over towards Oregon Inlet Fishing Center. So we're right at the end of the Bonner Bridge Pier, right as where the navigation span areas start for the Basnight Bridge. And again, that was to allow building the bridge that way was so that as the channel moves back and forth naturally, gives more options. Haven't checked. I think somebody had thrown a question in there how deep the water was. We'll have to ask about that. Probably the best thing that I haven't gotten one of the recent surveys of the inlet, and I should be able to pull that up. The Army Corps of Engineers website has the updated surveys, so that would be a good thing to check on there. To find out how deep the water is out in this area. It's got to be in the 30s, at least out where we're at right now here on the end. It's probably in the 30s, maybe even 4. I've seen most of the time, a lot of the most recent surveys I've looked at have been showing it, 30-foot water out on this side of the inlet. Yeah, the hunt clubs, Dan. Yeah, if you know where to look. Can't really see where I'm standing at right now because of the way the pilings are. Yeah, I can see them. You can see. My memory on exactly which one is which. I'll try to zoom down on it. There you go. I don't know how well that's going to focus. We're on a cell phone. Yeah, you can see those hunt clubs that are over there, Duck Island, which is farther up behind. Yeah, Dan, you had a good point about the frying pan tower having their underwater camera. And yeah, they get it. They don't have that current moving through there like we do through here. And the other thing, of course, here obviously is the water clarity here. It's probably not nearly what you get. Some good clear days, but other than being able to see right up close under that camera, it's mostly the fish right up, swim around on the pilings. You can see them. It would be pretty cool to have one under here. So maybe that's something that will be considered in the future. Let me see. Do a little drop fishing over here on the support cap of the bridge, of the new Basnight Bridge. Now, looking straight ahead, I'm not sure if you can see them or not, there is what's considered the navigation span of the Basnight Bridge. That's the one that the channel, the Coast Guard channel, Coast Guard Mart channel runs through. And those can be moved to different spots along the bridge, but that seems to be the one that they're going to have as the dedicated navigation span. At least it has been since the old bridge was demolished in this stretch. Yep, and pigfish. Oh, little pigfish. There he is. You can hear him chirping away this morning. Thank you. Uh-oh. Sorry. That's what it is. I've seen a couple of pigfish and there's one sea robin so far. That's been it so far. I see that, Dan. They were up off island. Oh, yeah. Got a little one out here in the stroller this morning. That's the cool thing about it, coming out here for wheel stroller out here, no problem. We'll walk down to the land side and take a look at things. That's one thing, they got signs up on the outside of the rail. No mooring and no spear fishing, and that has become very popular here in the inlet. For many years around the old bridge has been spear fishing. They're not wanting people to do that, obviously, because you're going to have people dropping lines from up here. So, but with the way the Basnight Bridge is designed, because you've got those pilings that were driven down into the bottom more than 100 feet, and then they were capped to create these piers that then the vents sit on or were poured on. So you do have quite a bit of structure underneath the Basnight Bridge, and but that's one thing they're not wanting. This is just over 1,000 feet, about 1,000 and I want to think my exact numbers, 1,032, something like that. So just over 1,000 feet. So it's it's like Dave Halleck told us a moment ago, you can walk this 3 times and you'll do a mile. So a third of a mile loop. Oh, there's a nice flounder, but he's got to go back. Nice hole right here. There's a nice flounder. Nice flounder, 15 days too late.
Yeah, I know, right?
So I just told him, too bad flounder.
Yeah, that's right. But he's a pretty decent sized one.
Well, we'll just put him down, Matt.
Yeah, there you go. We'll leave y'all alone. Put the pressure on you. So yeah, a little undersized flounder, but of course they have to go back. It's recreational flounder season, only the first 15 days of September this year here in North Carolina. Someone asked, why did they replace the bridge? It was 62 years old and built to 1960 standards. It was designed to only last 30 years. It was not safe. That's why the Bonner Bridge was replaced with a bridge that's designed to last 100 years. Yes, Dennis, you have to have a fishing license for this pier. It's a public walkway. It is not a pier that has the blanket license, which is available to the commercial run piers. As Dave mentioned about Avon Pier is actually owned by the National Park Service, and then Koru operates it. Those piers can purchase a blanket license, just like you have on your charter boats, just like you have on the head boats. You can purchase a blanket license that covers everyone that comes on and pays a fee. Because this is a free pier, this is just like the Washington Bomb access, the Bebop Pier, Mans Harbor. It's just like fishing on the bank. So yes, you do have to have your coastal recreational fishing license or the joint waters license to fish on this pier. That is, and Marine Patrol will be out here, so just make sure if you're going to come out and fish, you do have to have your license. Yeah, no rules on what type of gear. It's just a 2-rod per person limit. That is the only regulation as far as fishing tackle is concerned here on the Bonner Bridge Pier. Is you cannot, it's a 2-rod limit, but any type of gear is allowed. There's no restrictions on that. So yeah, you can use braided line. I know that's become a thing. Some of the piers not allowing braid. Now here we are right at the landing. And one thing, they have put fencing up, but you can still walk out here along the rocks. It's not a safe walk by any means. But here you got all the rocks. You can still fish around. Oh, look at all those oysters. You can't touch those. No oystering out here. Tony, I got your text, but I can't check that without knocking us off the air. So I may have to get you to...
He's still here. He's
okay.
Out there directing traffic with some of the trucks that are out there. Right at the end.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Tim. We get a chance to talk to Pablo Hernandez from NCDOT. There's some of the photos we got from Park Service yesterday with the Flickr account. They did leave the landing, and this is one of the dedication, or not dedication stone. Yeah, cornerstone. That's what it would be. But they did leave one of the cornerstones. The other one they did remove from the north end of the bridge. And you know, I honestly have not figured out where it's located now. When we had the dedication ceremony, the Basnight Bridge, they did have that stone at that ceremony. It would probably, if anywhere, it's going to go possibly to the Outer Banks History Center. I'll have to ask about that. That's something I had not checked on. The parking lot itself has been cleared just about of all the construction equipment from the construction of the Basnight Bridge and the demolition out here. That's the DOT's camera, by the way, which if you search traffic at obxtoday.com, I have a page built that has static images from all the DOT cameras here on the Outer Banks, but a lot of them are not functioning. So there's not, and this one itself will function periodically. It's on and then off and then on and off. And I'm walking out here. I'm gonna drop some extra gear with me, microphones and such that I didn't really need. So I'm gonna drop that off because otherwise my Shorts are going to fall off sooner or later. Well, we just dropped that in here. So the parking lot hasn't been resurfaced, but it's been reoriented. Well, it's you know, then one thing that's note about the parking lot now is you got the entrance is farther south than the original entrance, which was right up here as you came off the foot of the bridge, and it comes off the old section of Highway 12 down there. DJ, about the kayak access. Yeah, you know, there's not a direct access for kayaks. That's one thing that's not here. But well, you'd have to haul them over the rocks. You know what? For many years, people have just hauled them over the rocks here, down this one path. I'll take you over there. But no, there's not a dedicated kayak launch here now. But if you you go over here to this corner, and we still have the walking paths that go out. So if you want to walk out on the North Beach, the beach up here at the north end of Pea Island, or you want to go up where I'm going right now, over here to the rocks, to the basin, the old Coast Guard station basin. That's probably going to be your best bet, because I mean you got to walk them in, so you don't have a dedicated kayak launch. But I mean, this is a great spot if you want to take a kayak out there, if you want to wade out there. A lot of folks like to wade fish. I've done it many times here. No, Patty, there was not a ceremony. It was literally, there was probably 30 people. Most of the people are out there on the pier right now. We're here waiting, and DOT moved the cones, and Superintendent Halleck walked them out to it. So no, we didn't have a ribbon cutting or a ceremony like that. And this actually came as a surprise that today was the day. Got a press release yesterday afternoon that the pier was going to open, and it's open. So, but no formal ceremony or anything like that for this. One thing about that, one of the reasons why is because it's been such a long process to get the old bridge demoed, to get the site ready and cleaned up. All right, Tony, thanks for the text. Somebody was asking earlier about the water depth right along. It's about 10 feet, according to the latest survey. Right along the east side of the pier. Thanks for that, Tony. But yeah, DJ, you're asking about the trying to launch a kayak. Very easy to do. Now, one thing about it is there's quite a bit of distance from right along the edge there to get into deeper water. You can see actually there's a shoal that runs off the east side of the basin, and it's about waist deep till you get out past that shoal. It does drop off pretty quick after that shoal, and kind of see the slick in the water where the deep water, where that shoal ends, as water comes in around the basin and scours out. Now, if you go to the Cape Hatteras National Seashore website, they've got all the pier rules. We've got a link in our story at obxtoday.com that goes through all the different rules out here. No drones, no pin rigs That's another thing. There's no pin rigs allowed. Don't bring your tents out here. Can't grill, can't generate, no generators. This is something too. No bikes, skateboards, rollerblades. And then all the etiquette rules are just like what we see on all our piers. Yeah, do some underhand casts. This is one you may not be familiar with, sturgeon. What to do, what not to do with some of the different wildlife if you see it. The drone policy, of course, is for all national parks. You're not allowed to fly drones over them. And some of the different reminders as well. The no nudity sign is over there, by the way. I always have to point that. I walked right by it, didn't show it to you. But they did, do this nice sidewalk out here with pervious pavement for the sides, and that's so that DOT and Park Service can drive vehicles out here. When they do trash collection, they'll drive out to empty the trash cans. They are going to get some bollards out here, I do believe, to keep other vehicles from driving out here. But now, as you can see, we still got the fences up here. I'm not clear yet how this is going to work as far as being able to go out and walk on the landing area. That is part of the refuge, and there are certain areas you're not allowed to enter. Okay, this gives you an idea. If you remember the catwalks, there's the old wall. There's a pavement pathway that followed back over to the parking lot. So you come down here, and then you'd be able to go right here. Here's the actual what's left of the walking area. Yes, Dan. I don't think I'd be out there walking naked either. We know P Island has this reputation, but you can see how much. Okay, it gives you a better idea how much of a difference in height the old catwalk was. Because you'd step up here. Oh, there's even the old phone lines. The fiber optic cable that ran down along attached to the side of the bridge, and then you can see the cable raceways there. I did not have the proper footwear to be going down there. You can also see where the power cable used to come in that fed Hatteras Island right there, surrounded in concrete. I might be able to get over there. Yep, there it is. That's where the power used to come in for Hatteras Island when it was attached to the Bonner Bridge. Of course, now it runs through the Basnight Bridge in a dedicated tunnelway, basically, through the bridge and underneath. And then would run along the side, and then the catwalk was right here. So you were actually standing next to the power cables and phone cable and fiber optic cable feeding along the Bonner Bridge. You were standing next to that on the catwalk. But here's where the catwalk was. They cut that off. They cut them all off, all the way out. But essentially they kept everything where we had catwalk out. It's the same distance. See, left the road markings on the bridge deck. They have resealed the expansion joints because, again, not only is this a fishing pier, it's going to be a research platform. We're going to be able to, these sections of the bridge will be here for however long they survive. And you know, you go down to Florida, you go down a lot of places. I just thinking about it the other day, driving along I-95, and you go over the Cooper Santee Lakes near Santee, and the bridge, the original bridge across the lake there that carried 15 and 301 runs parallel to I-95, and that's been out there 70, 80 years now, almost, at least 70, but obviously in a much different environment than what we have here. Everybody's concentrating on the east side this morning. That's the other nice thing now, you know, with catwalks. You fish on the east side, and you'd have to go all the way down to the landing and cross the road, sprint across the road. Couldn't see cars coming because of the curve of the slope, and sprint across to go to the other side if you wanted to try it on the sound side. Not gonna have to do that anymore. Let me say, it's been almost at least 4 years, maybe even 5 years since the catwalks were closed, when the construction of the Basnight Bridge really got into high gear, and they used the parking lot for staging area. There's still quite a bit of gear that's got to be removed from the demolition. They're out there today pulling some more of the steel pilings that were used to create kind of a small harbor for the barges and such for the bridge construction. But more of that's still to come out. So that part, you know, that was, I fished there many times in the old ferry landing. Walk down along the edge there's a nice holes out there as you walk along the marsh that aren't a very long cast, but that area has been closed to access. So we're curious to see if that will reopen once everything is gone as far as the construction goes, if we'll be able to use that area again. Like I said, there are signs out there that say it's, you know, part of the wildlife refuge and no access. Indeed, Mike. Indeed. Great day for it. Perfect weather. You guys ordered up a good day for this. Tony, they pretty much kept the parking as it was. So you've got, they did reorient things a little bit. Well, actually, no. Now I look at it, the parking lot itself hasn't really been changed from what it was the last couple of years, and even back to what we had before. The handicap spots are right there by the bathroom, so there are 2 of those. I will have to walk back out there and check again for you. We'll walk back out that way before we wrap things up, and you can take a look at that. Yeah, it is. Good point, Madeline, that you can. This is a great spot because the way that the channel runs now, this is a great spot to see the boats come in and go out if you're up that early. But between 3 and 4, come out here and watch the fleet coming back in. So one of the half days going out, late half day, but you know, the channel running right here. Good point, Mike. Yeah, with the railings the way they are, and you got a little one, they're not going to get through it, but they're also going to be able to see right through it with no problem. So you won't be having to lift them up and show them over the rail. They can look right through. Now 9 o'clock, we're getting our normal updates from OBX alerts. Moderate risk of rip currents. Reminder, we do have a moderate risk of rip currents today, and it's going to go up tomorrow, and probably going to be high tomorrow and Sunday as we get the waves from Hurricane Sam coming in. Looks like it's not going to be as big a surf event as what we saw with Larry last month. I mentioned that in the story at obxtoday.com, that when you're looking at the wave models, we're not looking at a big surf, and we're going to have an onshore breeze, which is going to kind of knock it down a little bit, or not going to knock it down, but it's not going to be as clean and glassy when we get that offshore wind like we did during Larry. Last month, but we'll have some pretty decent surf over the weekend. It's going to be a little bit choppier just because of the onshore wind, although really the winds aren't going to be that much the next couple of days. We're looking at 5 to 10. Not going to get an offshore though, it looks like, before that swell goes away on Monday. Yeah, great sunsets, great sunrise. And you have both, best of both worlds out here with that, Carla. You can see now, I don't know, I'm trying to zoom down, don't get a very good view. I'm going to try it. You can see those breakers hitting the bar from here really good. Really gives you an idea because you can see where the bar goes across. Yeah, it's just, you can't get the, but I'll use my fingers. You can see the ocean bar come all the way off the north end of P Island. And I don't know if I can get that for you, and you can see the breakers all the way across until you get to what the channel, the gorge of the channel. But you can really see how big they're breaking right now already on that. I mean, the spray shooting up. Yeah, you can see, if you know what you're looking for, you can see the ocean pursuits right on the tip where, and if you're standing out here where it looks like the tip of Body Island Spit goes from traveling south to traveling west, just ahead of the curve, you can see it. Now, put your binoculars or a good zoom lens. I'm looking at it right now. Let's see. Yeah, really, again, tough to do with a cell phone. You're not going to get the zoom that we'd love to have with a. Yeah, it's a great spot for those photos. Dan, that's one thing that's going to be out here. You know, you don't have lights. That's one thing about it. There's no artificial lighting out here. And we'll see people bringing lanterns and stuff out here when they're fishing. But that is one thing that's not a lighted structure out here. So, you know, you have that advantage where you don't have the lighting, so you can really do some great nighttime photography out here. People will be bringing lights out when they're out here fishing at night. Still see some little work trestles still up there. We talk about punch list items. There's still little tiny punch list items on the bridge. They haven't taken that work trestle down on that support. And then on the other side, they're still pulling out some of the final pilings of the old bridge. The support pilings that were on the north side of the navigation span. Still a little bit of that left. And then the mooring pilings that were used for the barges are still in the water. Those still have to come out. And that was one of the things that held things up here on getting the pier open to the public. Well, you had one early on during the demolition. They were using this stretch for getting the parts pulled out, you know, transporting the sections of bridge out of here. And then also with the amount of vehicles that were coming in and out on land, with the crew still working. So that was one of the things, and with the slow progress, or the slow process of getting the bridge removed, it just took so much longer. So that was one of the major reasons the delay happened with getting this converted, was just the sheer demolition project. The timing, the length of time it took to get it done, really just that was what held up getting this part done. And then not just, you know, getting demolition of the old bridge done, then you had to do all the work that had to be done to make it the way it is now, with the, you know, removing the catwalks. And that was the other thing, is that, you know, they're pulling those catwalk sections up from the sides. That was going on. So they had trucks out here. And then once that was finished, they cut off the old railings, replaced them with these aluminum barricades. And the site work over here on land will kind of give you an idea what it looks like down on the land again. Those of you joining us late, and then we're going to wrap it up. First part of 2022 looks like, Dan, at this point. The latest update a couple of weeks ago from DOT was they're looking at early 2022. They have, and that's what, think about it. The jug handle bridge, way out there. You can see the cranes from here of the jug handle bridge construction project. You can see the cranes from here. And you can see almost all the way down Muchapee Island to Rodanthe from this view. And you get up on the Basnight Bridge, you can really see it. But yeah, early 2022 is what it looks like as far as the jug handle bridge. And one of the things they've run into there is just the difficulty of driving pilings on the northern side. The southern side just took so much less time, and the southern side now met up with the northern side of the work trestle. They haven't quite laid all the beams yet connecting the two sections, but it's getting close. Won't be that long now, but they're thinking, with no barring any weather delays, and we've lucked out so far on that as far as the weather goes, we should be driving on that bridge February. I'm thinking February, about the same time the Basnight Bridge open. It's probably going to be about the same. Yeah, it's going to be a great spot for sunsets. And that's one thing about it, is there are going to be a lot of people biking out on the bridge, especially sunsets. Think about that. But maybe not. And it's going to have the wider shoulders, just like we see on the Basnight. You're not going to have this little 3 foot. Even think about it. That's what you had. 1, 2, 3. 3 feet was what you had. Now they're 8 foot shoulders on these bridges. 12 in some cases, but enough for another lane. And there goes the Murden. It's the Murden, not the Merritt. It's the Murden. Heading out, been dredging up around the turn into the crack on the west side of the Basnight Bridge. Now heading out to work on the bar today. Yeah, we go out to the parking lot. Yeah, the parking lot itself, like I said, you've still got, it's about 2/3 open. You've still got construction equipment, buildings and such are still in place. So it'll be probably, yeah, a couple more months before the whole parking lot's open, maybe less. I mean, they're moving pretty quickly on getting the rest of the gear out of here, the construction gear, from the Bonner Bridge construction and the Basnight Bridge construction and the Bonner Bridge demo. How many times we have to restate that? How many times we have to catch ourselves? Tony, you were asking 3 handicap spots. 3 handicap spots currently marked down on this end. There's Porter John's, got a dumpster, no fish cleaning table. So maybe there's something. Maybe we'll see something for the Beach Buggy Association or Outer Banks Forever to take on. There you go. That's going to wrap it up for this special edition of OBX Today Live from the north end of Pea Island, the south shore of Oregon Inlet, and the opening of the Bonner Bridge Pier, which is open. Good crowd out here already. Should be a great weekend if you want to come out and fish. We'll get a shot from the water to wrap it up. Walk back down over here by the basin again. Yeah, there you go. No nakedness. Thanks, Dan. Any excuse to get out of the studio, I'll take it. To get down here on the beach. That's one thing. It's a cool thing about being able to do OBX Stay Live with the technology we have, is to be able to come out and do these remotes. That's going to be something we're going to make kind of a little more regular effort to do. It's funny how the nice thing about the show too is when breaking news happens, we can get to it. That's what happened with this. We had other plans as far as what we were going to do today, and the opening happening today. So that happened after we got off the air yesterday, to be able to get in the field and do these little trips and bring a slice of the Outer Banks around the world. We got folks watching from all over, not just here locally, but all over the world this morning, and we appreciate that. So there you go. That's going to wrap it up for OBX Today Live here on the OBX Today Facebook page. Thanks for joining us on YouTube as well. We will be back with you Monday morning at 8 o'clock. Actually, we'll be a little bit earlier. We may be a 7 o'clock start on Monday. Mondays, we have to do things a little bit earlier. Granddad babysitting duty. So there's that has to be taken into consideration. So thanks for joining us. Hope you have a great weekend, everybody. Of course, we'll keep you up to date with the latest on Hurricane Sam and the wave situation. Looks like it's just going to be rip currents. Shouldn't have to deal with any problems with overwash at this point. Last check of everything, that's not going to be a problem. So we shouldn't have any issues there. But we will be back with you otherwise if we need to anytime, and online at obxtoday.com. Have yourself a great weekend, everybody. See ya.